What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hangout spot where you already know it's real talk, boxing talk, live from my man cave. It's your boy Johnny, and I'm your host for another edition of the Hangout Spot Live. This time, a Monday night edition. As you guys know, we usually rock out every Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But sometimes we throw in a Monday show, especially when we have boxing over the weekend, because I just can't wait till Tuesday to recap, man. A lot of shit went down this weekend during the Tank Davis and Lamont Roach fight in Barclays Center, Brooklyn, and we are going to break it down. And we're not going to break it down alone. I'm still waiting for my man, the boxing maniac from Four Corners Boxing, should be joining us shortly. He's going to come on the panel and he's going to break it down with me, man, because he was actually in the building and supposedly it was electric in there. But it wouldn't be your typical Tank main event if there wasn't some kind of controversy or some kind of spectacular knockout or something that opens eyes. And this time it wasn't a knockout. It was controversy. So we're going to be all over it. But for those of you guys that rocked out with us last week on our lives, we actually did 3 shows last week, man. 3 shows. We did a Monday show to recap the fight card from the week and from last weekend. And we also did a Tuesday show. We had a special guest. We had a 154-pound prospect, Ebenezer Stuntman Griffin, a great, bright young man with a bright future. If you did not check that out, make sure you check it out at the Hangout spot right now. And then Thursday, obviously, we broke down this card one by one. The chat was cooking. I expect the chat to stay cooking today because let me tell you something. It was one hell of a night at Barclays Center, Brooklyn. And like I said, we're going to get right into it. But before I bring in my guest, you already know there's ground rules here at the Hangout spot, man. If you're watching this live on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button. We are trying to get this channel into the algorithm and eyes of other boxing fans around YouTube so that they know we rock out Tuesdays, Thursdays, sometimes a third time during the week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you have not subscribed, and more importantly, if you have not told a friend to tell a friend to subscribe, make sure you do that because this is how we're doing it up in 2025 here at the Hangout spot. Last but not least, you know the deal. The chat is open, free chats, and we also take donations with the super chats, man. So if you want to rock out,
straight cash, homie.
Your boy will always appreciate it, man. But like I said, without further ado, man, let me get my man up in here, man. My man's is here, man. Without further ado, who graces the presence of the Hangout spot tonight, man?
You already know it's your boy, the maniac, Johnny.
What's going on, champ?
Yo, you already know, man. You know, I know I'm a slightly like, man, when you have children, I know you done past this stage, bro. My daughter is still crying, bro. Like, it's just, it's frustrating, you know, but I said, listen, me, I don't care. I let them cry themselves to sleep. Wifey, she's not like that, but it is what it is. But anyway, man, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Thank God. You know, I'm past that point, man. You know, I'm an old guy. You know, I did that.
Bless you, bro. Done that. I envy you. I envy you. I'm just gonna say that. I envy you.
Yeah, man. Listen, listen, I know exactly what you're going through, brother, but it's all good. I appreciate that, man. Like I said, you got a family. And I always welcome you to come on. I love your perspective when we break down fights. And again, you know, your typical Tank fight weekend where everybody comes out, man. Whether you like them or you don't like them, people come out and people come to see Tank. And this was no different, man. You were in the building, bro. So before we get into breaking down the fight card, how was the energy in the building, bro?
So, man, look, I you know, this was my first time seeing Tank live. And you know what? The hype is real. When Tank fight, the hype is real. We're talking about 19,000 plus in the building. And the energy was electric. You're talking about Chi-Town was in the house. ATL was in the house. Of course, BMO was in the house. DC was in the house. We even had Texas in the house. Had dude from, I think, Fort Worth, dude from Houston. And of course, you had New York City. And and a lot of people from Tri-State, Philly, Jersey, Connecticut. So, man, the Barclay was like an earthquake, Johnny, because it was shaking.
No, I could imagine. It looked like it on TV. And, you know, I was technically supposed to be there, but shit shit went kind of crazy with my credential. I didn't get approved. I think it was a late entry. That's what it was. And I wanted to be in the building, but then I contemplated, like, do I want to spend a flight, expensive tickets, to see this fight card? Because on paper, it was okay. Like, it wasn't anything that really knocked my socks off, especially when we had the one the week prior at the Riyadh season, right? When we had all those banging ass fights and it was only $26 to be able to watch it. So I made a business decision. My only regret was I wasn't there to hang out with my brothers from Four Corners Boxing, you and everybody else that was in the building, because y'all was all there. But I will make it up to you. I promise.
No, I know your word is bond, man. So it's all good, man. I understand fully. I'm not going to even cap. If I was again the credential, I probably would have not done the same neither. I probably would have said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna stay home, man." And you know what? The best seat is always at home, right? We know that. Right. No one's gonna argue that. But being the hardcores we are, and what we do now, we put out content, we do shows, and with media at the same time. So it's different. The energy is much better when you're there live and you're in there engaging with people, whether it be fighters, celebrities, promoters, managers, rappers, the whole shebang. So I get it, man. But trust me, there's going to be, I could bet we're going to have a lot of fights where Four Corners in the Hangout spot going to be together cooking.
Absolutely. Without a doubt, brother. It looks like you're having a bad connection, though, because you keep coming in and out.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, you keep freezing up. I can hear the sound. Sometimes it gets in a little bit choppy. You want to try jumping out and jumping back in?
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah, man, that's my brother from Four Corners Boxing, the Boxing Maniac. We're going to break down the entire fight card from Saturday night. And obviously, the main event headliner was Gervonta Tank Davis against Lamont Roach for the WBA Lightweight Championship. And a lot of controversy in this one, man. A lot of controversy. So we're going to see. We're going to break it down. I want to definitely get the chat involved. And then we had Alberto Puello. That was a title fight for 140-pound title against Sandor Martin. Rayo Valenzuela was the co-main event. Jose Rayo Valenzuela. That was for the WBA 140-pound title against Gary Antuanne Russell, and he absolutely cooked. And then the opener was Yoenis Tellez, young Cuban fighter, undefeated, and he actually won an interim title against veteran Julian J. Rock Williams. Before we get the Maniac up in here, who we have out there? We got my brother. My brother Ryan Frazier is in the building from Boxing Talk up north. What's going on, my brother? Salute to you as well, fellas. If you guys did not see, Ryan Frazier joined me last week to break down the Riyadh card on Monday night show. Make sure you check it out at the Hangout spot. We got my brother Garcia up in the building. What's going on, man? Thank you for rocking out with us here on Monday night. We got the Maniac back in. Go ahead, man. Take it away.
Let me see. Am I good now? I'm on my phone.
It's a little choppy, but we'll get through it, brother. We'll get through it.
It's weird because from me, like I'm fine. I don't like this. I don't like that.
It's all good. It's actually okay right now. Garcia robbery, that was a knockdown. Well, we're gonna get into that.
Oh, we're gonna definitely get into that.
Absolutely. We got my man Wax in the building. What's going on, man? Appreciate you rocking out. Wax is always coming up to show support on the live shows. I appreciate you, my brother. We got my cousin Bill is in the building. What's going on, cuz? So proud of you, bro. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. As always, you know the deal, you family. He seems smooth to me. Okay, so maybe it's something on my end, Maniac. So don't worry about it, man. Just rock out, man. Yeah. We'll get through this bad boy. Not a big deal. The bad connection is the Falcons hat. Okay, there you go. Joseph McCann, you nailed that, bro. But my man, the Maniac. If y'all don't know, man, he got more hats than lids, bro. I mean, is there any hat from any team that you don't have, bro?
I don't. The hat I don't. The San Diego Padres.
Okay.
Because of the color, that color is like, and there's really nothing I can wear it with. But yeah, and I I can't go into these fitted stores, Johnny. It's like a tecato, you know, like I'm like, oh, I need 7 more. And it's like, I really don't, but I just love them, man. You know, you got sneaker heads. I'm a fitted head.
Yeah, I used to buy a lot of hats as well and sneakers, man. But you know, as you get older, you pace yourself, you calm down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the
Yes,
hats ain't
definitely.
cheap no more. I remember back in the days when I'm old, bro. I used to buy fitted hats for like $25. Now they're like
Oh
40,
man,
50.
I remember them days. Yo, 45 a fitted. That's like that's regular price.
Mm-hmm.
You get
That is
something with a
crazy.
you get something with a patch on it or a special fitted, bro. That's like 65, 70.
That's crazy, man, for a fitted. We got my man Elvin in the building, man. What's going on, champ? That was a knockdown. The ref forgot the rules. Yeah. My sister's in the building. Superwoman 607. I appreciate you, Six, for rocking out. As always, yeah, he's straight. All right, so maybe it's me. You know, maybe it's me, man. Angel Gonzalez is in the building. What's going on, brother? Shout out from San Antonio, Texas.
Yes, sir. And like I
That's right,
said,
man.
Texas was in the building Saturday.
That's right. You said it, man. I'm telling you, man. Tank brings them out, man. I mean, it could be rappers, it could be celebrities, it could be other fighters in other weight classes, Hall of Fame fighters. I mean, everybody's out there, bro. Everybody's out there. Absolutely. You invoke my name, Joseph McCann.
Hmm.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. He even rocking a BK Nets. I do. I don't know about the Maniac, but that used to be my basketball team when I watched basketball. I don't really watch basketball like that no more, man. It's just
I
the
don't
game is
neither. Yeah.
yeah, the game has just gotten so bougie, man. I mean, it's watered down. I mean, you watch a game and all you see is like the guys jacking up a bunch of 3-pointers, flopping. I mean, I ain't got no time for that no more, man. You know,
No.
boxing keeps me busy, by the way. Hey, Bill, that's right. Sis is up in the building. But anyhow, let's get right to it, champ. Let's get right to it because we got a lot to cover. So, you know me, I like to start with the appetizer first and then kind of work my way up to the main course. But we're going to
Yes.
go through the appetizers fairly quickly. You know, we're going to go through those fairly quickly. First and foremost, I want to talk about the headliner in the prelim card, which was Jarrett Swift Hurd, former unified champion at 154. He actually loses against Johan Gonzalez in a unanimous decision. And then briefly after the fight, he retires, which, I just want to give him a shout out. I actually reached out to him after the fight because me and him chop it up on DM. I'm trying to get him on the show, to just marvel and celebrate what I think was a great career, at 154, won multiple titles, like I said, unified champion in that division. But I think it was the right time for him to retire. I mean, his last performance, I was there at Pro Box against Jason Rosario. It ended up in a draw, but a lot of people thought he might have lost that fight. And then this fight, obviously, he loses. And this is not the type of caliber. And this is not taking nothing away from Johan Gonzalez, Maniac, but this isn't the type of fighter that a guy like Jarrett Hurd wants to lose to, So I think it was probably well warranted, for him to retire. Just give me your thoughts real quick on that fight. And do you think it was a good decision for him to retire?
So listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't get to watch that fight. I got there about 7 o'clock. That fight was going on. I did hear he lost. I didn't get to catch the YouTube because that was the YouTube portion of the card. So I didn't get to watch that. So I'm not gonna sit here and cap and act like I did. I did not. They did tell me he lost, and I remember the opponent he lost to. The guy did Tellez beat. So, but one thing I want to say that you mentioned, Johnny, and this is why, besides, you my brother, man, because we kind of have the same mindset when it comes to fighters, right? People like to kick fighters down when they done and I say he ain't nobody's bro. You got to show love to these fighters. And if I have a new series every Thursdays, the gatekeepers, right? Why? Because the gatekeepers need love. So we got to embrace some more, Johnny. We can't just, the guys at the top, the pound for pounds, you're not getting, these guys boxing wouldn't be boxing without the Jarrett Hurds of the world. You understand? So everything he's done in boxing, bro, he was deemed at one point like the Black Margarito at 54. That guy was dangerous, man. That was a dangerous, dangerous dude, man. So shout to Jarrett Hurd, man. I would definitely get to watch the fight on YouTube once I get a chance, but he has nothing to be ashamed of, man. Anytime he was in that ring, he gave it his all, man. He just doesn't have it no more, and that's fine, bro. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this was the right time. Jarrett Hurd, throughout his career, my biggest criticism was he gets hit a lot. You know what I mean? And at this point in your career, with what you've already accomplished, to be able to, to get hit, he got hit a lot in this fight as well. And I don't think it's worth it anymore. Like I said, he's done what he's done. I respect him. He was one of my favorite fighters to watch because, like you said, he was mowing down dudes at 154 at one point. And I want to get him on because I want to ask him those type of questions about his career, if he had any regrets. Because personally, if I had one regret about Jarrett Hurd, is that we didn't get to see the Charlo fight at 154. That was the fight that I always wanted to see when they were both in there, when they were both dominating the division. And we never got a chance to see that one, man. So I definitely want to get him out. If you guys ain't following me on IG, make sure you're following me because, like I said, that's where I usually put my updates, my stories, updates on who I'm going to have on for interviews. We're working on Jarrett Swift Hurd as we speak. But if you're watching, champ, congratulations, man, on a spectacular career. And,
Yes,
I wish you nothing but the best in retirement, man. Now your second career starts. You know what I mean? So I'm happy for him. But let's move it along. We got, I did not know this, bro. So absolutely it's Joseph McCann. I didn't know your real name, bro.
Oh, that's absolutely.
Yeah, that's absolutely. You knew his real name?
Nah. What he's in that picture? Drinking more White Claw?
Mr. White Claw is in the building.
Mr. White Claw. Okay.
I told you didn't want me. Nah, bro. Nah. I didn't even know this was you, man. I
Yeah,
did
we did
not
it.
know.
Okay. Yo, he finally got something right, Johnny. He did call that about Roach being a real competitive fight, and he called it. I give it, absolutely. I give it to you, champ. And you know what? I might need some White Claws now. Amazon me a couple.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Boxing is absolutely in the building. He was absolutely right. The Charlo fight didn't happen because of J-Rock. Yeah. Yeah.
He did spoil you that. That was
Yeah.
a hell
That's
of a
right.
J-Rock's best win of his career.
Yeah. Speaking of J-Rock, man, let's slide into to his fight. That was the opener on the main card. It was Julian J-Rock Williams, former unified champion, against a young Cuban undefeated, somebody who obviously I root for because he fights for Box Lab Promotions. And as you guys know, they like family to me, the way they treat me. So shout out to Box Lab Promotions. And he's a young fighter who they're very, very excited about, undefeated, comes into this fight. This was a huge step up for him, a huge step up on a big platform against a very credible opponent who obviously his best days are behind him, but he's still very, very crafty. And he showed it in this fight. Yoenis Tellez comes into this fight with 9 wins, 7 by knockouts, and a tremendous right hand. And he tried to land that on numerous occasions. He landed some big shots, but he wasn't able to get J-Rock out of this. So he wins a fairly easy unanimous decision, and he wins the WBA interim title at 154. But I give him credit, Maniac, because he showed a lot of poise for a young guy. Like he didn't try to press the action. He kind of took what what J-Rock was giving, right? And you could tell J-Rock was crafty. J-Rock was trying to set him up for a trap. And, he just didn't fall for it, but he did really good work. He landed some good shots. He landed some uppercuts. I mean, he had J-Rock's face kind of messed up there. So I think it was a good performance for a young guy. He gets an interim title. Going those rounds with this type of guy is only going to make you better. And that's what I thought. I said, you know what? He just beat a former unified champion. He went 12 rounds with him. Think about how much better he's going to be. Think about how good this is going to be for his development. Tell me a little bit about what you thought about El Bandolero's performance against Julian Williams.
Yeah, man. You know what? It was a very good performance, right? Not a great, not a spectacular, very good performance. And this is something you want to see in these young fighters, right? You want to see them in there with a veteran. Of course, you would, as a as a fan of his or his team, you want to see him get the knockout. But you know what? J-Rock showed, man, that, he's a veteran and this is not going to be easy. And we spoke about this, Johnny, that we know that Philly grit, that Philly spirit, that Philly warrior mentality, man. These guys are just not going to lay down for anybody, regardless of father time or not. But, like you said, J-Rock, he fought the best fight he could for what he has left in the tank, right? He just couldn't do much, can't really pull the trigger like he was able to, years ago. And Tellez, what I liked about Tellez, like you said, he took his time, right? A lot of the times you see these young guys want to impress the crowd, Johnny. So guess what they do? They start making mistakes. They start pushing the action. This is when you run into something. Boom, you get dropped. So no, he said, okay. Oh, you think I can't go in that toolbox, Johnny? I got that measuring tape. I got the hammer. Everybody know I got the hammer, but I got that measuring tape too. So he boxed, he gave what he took what J-Rock gave him, man. And it was a boxing. He was able to land on J-Rock pretty much at will, not combinations at will, because, again, J-Rock was moving. Like you said, looked like he was trying to set him up with something, but he just couldn't execute what he wanted to do in there. Tellez walked him down just about 95% of the fight. He did, solid body work. Of course, went up top. He was changing levels pretty well, and I think it was a fight where he's gained a lot of experience, especially going rounds with a veteran like J-Rock. I think it's only going to make Tellez better moving forward. And I'll rate his performance about a B+.
Okay. I think that's pretty fair. Like I said, there was some good things that he did in there. But a big step up, like I said, a big step up in competition, especially on this type of stage. Now, who would you like to see him fight next? Obviously, he has an interim title now. He's only got 10 fights, but obviously he's a lot more. I mean, they feel high, they're very high on this kid, even though he has 10 fights. They feel like he's championship material right now. One
I
guy
got
that
somebody.
I'm wondering if it's the same guy as me, because I'm
going to tell you he's African American. I'm going to say that.
So it's not the same guy, because the guy that I was thinking about for him would be Sandor Zayas.
And that'd be a hell of a fight.
I think so, man. Sandor Zayas was actually at his last fight at Caribbean where I was there. And a lot of people in the crowd were buzzing like, yo, that should be your next guy. That should be your next guy or whatnot. Obviously, that didn't happen because Tellez fought, Sandor just fought. But I'd like to see them go at it. Two young guys, very, very skillful. And I think this is I don't know if Sandor would want that fight. Sandor's obviously trying to pursue, something bigger, but that's something that I would consider. But I'm curious to hear who you would want him to fight next.
Yeah. So obviously Sandor is a great pick. Don't get me wrong. I would not say no to that fight if it got made tomorrow. But there's another fighter at 154 who also called out Sandor. He goes by the name of Charles Conwell. And Conwell, he's up and coming 54-pounder. He looking like a killer himself, man. So if you want to get two pit bulls in there, let me see Conwell versus Tellez, man. Or mix and match all three of them, right? I wouldn't mind. Give me Sandor Conwell, Sandor Tellez. Like that's a great pick as well. I'm just saying me personally, right? Because there's no wrong answer to that. So if you mix and match those three young gunners, because to me, those are the faces of 154, right? Tellez, Conwell, and Sandor. Not in that order exactly, but I think these guys definitely could have bright futures at 54, right? And these are the young. You got a Cuban, you got a Puerto Rican, you got an African American. And one thing they do have is that people want to see these guys. So no one is going to say no to those three fights if they were to happen soon. But we'll see, man. We'll see what they do with them. Actually, my man Rob, who is Yoenis, it's the Cuban dude that just fought on Amazon Prime on YouTube on the Benavidez Morel. Fernandez, Yoenis.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Hernandez. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my man Rob is his manager. So he has a piece of Tellez as well. He don't got full custody, you know what I'm saying? But he got a percentage of there. So I'll definitely holler at him, see, if he got any intel on which direction they're going to go with Tellez. But it should be interesting, man, because he is a fighter that when he comes to fight, he brings it. And now he showed another wrinkle to his game, Johnny, that he could box and that, he has the stamina to do so.
Yeah, no, great point. I love the pick in Conwell. Obviously, Conwell is trying to lobby for a fight against Xander Zayas. I would love to see that, especially in June during Puerto Rican Day weekend. I hope they make that happen because I will be in the building for that for sure. So we'll see. I think they're all their futures are bright. Xander, I believe, Yoenis, Tellez, Charles Conwell. It's gonna be interesting, man. 154 is popping, man. You got veterans up in there, you got champions, and then you got young guns, that are ready to take that next step, man. Nah, I love it, man. I love your picks. But before we get to the next fight, we got my man Mr. B in the building. What's going on, brother?
Mr. B, my guy.
Yeah, man.
Shout
Yeah,
to
that's
Mr.
what's up.
B.
Shout out to you, man. Yes, Tellez took what J-Rock gave him. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Xander. And then we got Conwell is levels above Tellez and Xander. I don't know. I mean,
man, it's debatable. It's definitely debatable. Absolutely. So I can't really argue. But it's again, it's styles, right? And then I do get it. Charles Conwell, right now, eye test. He just seems a little more polished. But again, Xander's next fight, he might show something. We said, oh shit, I didn't even know he had that. So it's boxing is a weird sport, man. It's just we'll see. We'll see how it plays out when it comes to those three young gunners. Because Johnny, we spoke about it. The junior middleweight division is shark infested. And I'm talking about great white sharks. And it's not to be played with at 54, bro. You better bring it because everybody could crack, everybody could fight, and everybody brings it. Look, even my man Erickson Lubin, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
oh, listen.
That's right.
Which he was in the building. Shout to Erickson Lubin. He was in the building Saturday as well.
Yeah, I see him all the time at Pro Box, man. He's a cool dude. He's trained by my guy, Mark Ferre. And he has a fight coming up, I believe, at Pro Box. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be at Kissimmee. I want to say at the end of the month, but I will get that date for you guys and we'll post it right before. Obviously, before that, we'll post it, making sure, obviously, my audience is well aware. Erickson Lubin is must-see TV, man. And like you said, he's a great guy. We got my baby girl, Alexa. What's going on, baby? Yeah, Best Sports Podcast, Hangout spot. Appreciate you rocking out, man. Definitely appreciate you rocking out.
The best.
I am here with the Boxing Maniac. I'm the Boxing Maniac from Four Corners Boxing. We are breaking down Saturday night's fight card, which was headlined by Tank Davis and Lamont Roach at Barclays Center, Brooklyn. If you have not hit that like button, make sure you smash it. Tell a friend to subscribe and keep this chat going. Let's move on to the next fight, Maniac. We have the WBC 140-pound title fight. Alberto Puello from the Dominican Republic coming in undefeated. 23-0, 10 KOs against Sandor Martin from Spain. 42-3, 15 knockouts. On paper, not a big puncher, but he is coming off 2 knockout wins and a decision loss against Teofimo Lopez, who a lot of people thought he might have won. Now, this fight coming in, Maniac, I said that this was probably going to be the most boringest fight of the night. And I'm not going to lie, I think I text you. What did I text you during that fight, man? Did I text you the sleeping emoji?
Yeah. I think we both did.
I think we both did, like minutes apart, bro, or maybe almost simultaneously, brother. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, the crazy part about this one is Sandor Martin was the aggressor in this fight. Like he was pushing the pace and he was landing a lot of punches. Obviously, Alberto Puello is a counterpuncher, sharp counterpuncher, very, very sneaky, precise, sharp counterpuncher. But even though they mixed it up a lot, to me, it just wasn't the most interesting or the most, I don't know. There was something about that fight that it was what it was. It was what it was, but it was close. It was close. I mean, Alberto Puello wins this fight. He remains the champion. But there were a lot of people, including myself. I thought Sandor Martin slightly won this fight because he was busier. He was more aggressive. He fought on the front foot, which you don't see him do that a lot. You could tell he was going for it. He was trying to win that title. But we say this all the time, Maniac. You have to go out there and you have to decisively beat a champion in my book. And in this performance, as close as it was, you can't realistically say, like, I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? Like, they would have called it a draw. I would not have been mad. They called it for Puello. I'm not mad. But I don't know. How did you see this, especially live, man? Like, what was the energy in the crowd for this fight? And how did you see this fight playing out?
You know, it's funny, man, because earlier that day, I had sent a message to my boy, and I said, listen, you know, I didn't say it on the live. I did say this has the potential to be the boo. But I had told him, it's either going to be that or enough action to keep you engaged. And you know what? It was enough action to keep you engaged. Like you said,
That's
nothing great. Yeah, enough. Like, you wasn't like, not sure. Hold on. I don't want to go make that sandwich right now because, you know, these fighters, like you said, right? Sandor Martin, and it's funny, they both southpaws, right? Both two southpaws in there and two southpaws that like to counter. Especially Sandor Martin, he likes to work off the back foot. He likes to, you know, have you coming in. But this fight, he said, nah, I'm going to go in. And wow, man, you know, it was just hard to just because it was literally, this fight was the epitome of back and forth. Yes, it seemed like Sandor was the more active fighter, probably landed the more cleaner shots. But I think what gave Puello the fight was the later rounds. I think he was able to steal some of the later rounds. You know, Puello, you know, he was coming in with the jab, using his length, and he was aggressive at times too. It was weird. It's like they were taking turns, man, on who's being the aggressor, which made for a fight that was kept me engaged enough. Like, hold on, bro. Like, why y'all not being boring, bro? I want to take a nap. But I couldn't, you know, I just couldn't because they had me engaged. But again, Sandor Martin loses a decision where the consensus kind of say they felt he won. Same thing with the Tio fight, right? It's not like he was beaten definitively. Was that a definitive win for Puello? I'm gonna say no. But again, like you mentioned, I'm okay with the decision. It was very close. A lot of back and forth from both fighters. We're talking about footwork. We're talking about changing speeds. We're talking about IQ, you know, trying to set traps. It was, yo, bro, this fight kind of had it all, but not in a great action way. It's just weird, right, man. But
it was weird because there was, like you said, a lot of offense, but it was offense that didn't turn me on. Like, it didn't excite me. Maybe it was because of who it was coming from, right? Because you got two guys that really aren't punchers that are trying to be punchers, and it wasn't believable to me. That's
there
just
the
way I look at it.
Johnny, there you go. It's like a 3-point shooter just trying to dunk all game. And it's like, yo, bro, it looks nice, but I'm not used to seeing you like this dunking, right? So I just think that's what it was. And you're right. You know, and it's tough because normally a lot of fighters are stuck in their ways, right? They hard-headed. This is how I fight. I'm not changing for nobody. But these fighters did engage. So, you know, salute to both fighters. They both, you know, again, Sandor Martin has nothing to be ashamed of. I'm 100% sure he will land another big fight because of the performance he put. And shout to Puello, man. These are 2 fights in a row I picked against him. I picked against him against the Gary Antuanne, and I picked against him against Sandor. He said, mira, boricua, déjame quieto. Yo soy dominicano. Yo gano mi pelea. So shout to Puello, man.
Cógelo con take it easy. I picked him, but I only picked him because like I said, I screwed up the last time picking against him, and you know, obviously he put up that performance, you know, and beat Gary Antuanne Russell, which we'll get into in a second. But I kind of feel bad for Sandor, like I said, man. But you know, another close fight that he loses, and you know, you kind of feel like, when is this guy going to get his break, right? But he's got to keep grinding because the Maniac, I thought about you. I'm like, yo, if George Kambosos can continuously get big fights, Sandor Martin should be able to get a damn fight, man. Because I think he's light years better than George Kambosos.
Light years. Light
Light
years,
years,
yes.
man. And I'm not saying that, I'm not capping, bro. I really mean that. I mean,
not being disrespectful, just being real. We just being real.
I'm being real. Like after this performance, they're talking about getting them in there against Richardson Hitchens. Like, what can you say, man? This is the sport of boxing. It is what it is. I'm not going to be a hater, but still, I'm just calling it like it is. I do, like I said, I'd like to see Sandor Martin again in another, another big fight. I think he's earned that right. Hopefully, maybe against a Devin Haney or something like that. After the Ryan thing or whatnot. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. As far as Alberto Puello, I'll leave who I want for him for the next fight, because we are going to now talk about the co-main event. But before we do that, let's see what we got in the chat. My man, Mr. B, yeah, Big Rob, good guy. And he has Yo-Yo and Armando Robbie Martinez. Yep. We spoke about that earlier.
Yes.
We got absolutely 154 pound is the division right now, hands down. It is a great division. I do agree with you. Yeah, Yoenis Hernandez is a different beast. Garcia, thank you. He is, bro. He's going to be a major problem. He's going to
You saw the rumor for him, Shea Mosley Jr.
Yes.
On the Canelo score.
Yes.
So Yoenis is currently in the Canelo camp as we speak.
Exactly.
He likes him. Canelo, that's one of Canelo's chief sparring partners.
No cap,
Johan. Thank you, bro. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, we're gonna get to that, Garcia.
We're getting we're gonna get to that right now. Like I said, I'm here with the boxing maniac from Four Corners Boxing. He is family, always welcome at the Hangout spot. Again, if you have not subscribed to tell a friend, make sure you subscribe to both the Hangout spot and the Boxing Maniac on YouTube and Four Corners Boxing as well. We are here. The chat is cooking. Keep it rolling. We here with the co-main event. Maniac, I predicted that this fight, and I think you agreed that this fight would be the fight of the night.
Yes.
And you know what's crazy? I think it was fight of the night, but it wasn't because it was a competitive fight.
Correct.
It was because Gary Antuanne Russell put together, in my opinion, so far this year, and I know we're in March, probably fighter of the performance of the night. Like he cooked. I text you the emoji of a chef. Get this man, in your words, an apron, because he absolutely cooked Rayo. I mean, I'm gonna let you. How did he cook him? Tell me how he cooked him. Describe this chef, what he did on Saturday.
Yeah, man. So this is one thing coming in. First of all, I'm gonna get this out the way. I went 1-4 on my picks. Well, 1-3-1, right? Because the main event was a draw. So my picks were bad this fight. But as you know, Johnny, Friday, I mentioned I did pick Rayo to win a close decision. I knew this fight was going to be tough. I knew this was no gimme, but I did not see what Russell did coming. I didn't see him to dominate Rayo. I could have saw a stoppage where a fight was competitive and then they trading and then he stops Rayo. But we're talking about arguably won 11 of the 12 rounds, right? And if you want to give Rayo 2 rounds, that's where it stops. That's where it stops. And that's probably being nice. So look, man, let's get into this fight,
nice.
right?
Very nice.
Yeah. Let's break this fight down. First of all, coming into this fight, not that Gary Russell didn't show he could box. He just didn't really do it effectively. Now, maybe the Victor Paul style fight, he kind of showed it, a glance of it, but he was kind of just bulldozing through his opponents. He was just walking them down, just beating them up, stopping them. You saw it in the Puello fight. He tried to just be the aggressor the whole night. Puello, being the counterpuncher he is, did what he did, got the decision. But this fight, Johnny, he got into his tools. He said, you know what? I just cannot rush this dude. Let me throw a jab. Bro, everything starts with a jab, right? Everything starts and ends with a jab. And once Russell was able to throw that jab, bro, Rayo could not do nothing with it. And again, changing speeds, right? Changing speeds is, you throw it one speed and bang, bang. So you're gonna throw that opponent off, man. And Rayo, he couldn't get his timing down, and Russell had his timing down. So and on top of him getting that timing down, when he got inside, he punished Valenzuela. He did not go in there like he normally does, just, I'm going to walk him down. He did it strategically. He did it behind the jab. And once that jab was popping, now everything started to come together. He go to the body. And once he go to the body, Rayo, he come back up top and changing levels. So him changing speeds and changing levels was a beautiful thing. And it was on full display on Saturday. And Rayo just couldn't do anything. The Rayo we saw against Pitbull just wasn't there. He just couldn't do nothing, man. He did land some stuff late in the fight, but that was because Gary kind of gave him that. He was in his wheelhouse, but he outboxed a boxer, something I didn't see coming. And then on top of that, Gary's footwork, man, he was just so disciplined in his footwork and knowing not to really stay there too long. And he was moving, bro. Wow. I mean, I did not see that coming from Gary. That was a hell of a performance, man, because the technicalities of it, how he did it was just beautiful. It was a Picasso painting, bro. Absolutely one of the best performances of the year, hands down, because it came to an opponent who that you picked to beat Pitbull, right? Because everybody's calling Pitbull this animal, this monster. And Rayo just went through him easy. It was the way he did it. And Gary Russell coming off a loss didn't look good in that loss. That's the difference. And what he did was spectacular, man. They fought at mid-range. And Valenzuela just couldn't get his timing down. He couldn't counter Gary Russell well. And Gary Russell did the opposite. He countered him well, went to the body. And again, he kept that distance well. Rayo couldn't do anything, man. Rayo just could not do anything. Shout to Gary Russell, man, for just being a technician on Saturday, man. Yo, wow, he's IT, man, because he came and he just, man, just crazy. Woo!
Amazing breakdown, man. It's hard for me to even follow that up. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, I didn't see that coming either. I picked Rayo as well. And, shout out to Gary Antuanne because he was coming off a loss to Puello. And a lot of boxing people, including myself, question like, damn, you come off a loss for a title and you get another title shot immediately? Like, what world do we live in? But at the end of the day, he made the most out of that opportunity and he was different. So that last fight, I don't know what it was. It sparked something inside of him. He learned something that we saw. We saw something a lot different, right? Like you said, we saw tools that we didn't know he had in his toolbox until Saturday against a great champion. Like I said, coming off a big win for his first world title. One of the most impressive things I saw out of that is another thing was every time Rayo landed a big punch, Gary would come back and land another one of his own and sometimes 2 or 3, which means he never let Rayo take any type of momentum back whatsoever. And Rayo hit him with some good shots, some good uppercuts. And,
that's that 12th round.
Yeah, bro. He took him and he stood composed and he continued and he listened to the game. Like he followed the game plan to a T. Shout out to Gary Russell Jr., man, for training his little bro, just taking over, stepping in for Pops who passed away. And he's doing a spectacular job, with Gary Antuanne. I'm just excited to see him again. My only question, Maniac, when I was texting you that he was cooking them was, what is he cooking, bro? Is he cooking pernil, chuletas, bite? I don't know what he was cooking, but he was cooking something.
Carne asada. Wow, man. These are and you know what? Shout to Gary Antuanne. Johnny, I mentioned this many times. Me, I like the humble fighters. I'm okay with the shit talkers, again, to each his own. But me, I like them humble guys. Because that's how I'm a loud dude. But normally, I'm just a humble, laid back. Like, you see me, yo, what up, baby? How you doing? Cool with everybody. Gary Antuanne is very cool. I had met him thanks to my man Smoke and AK, which they're real cool with him. Like they know him on a personal level. And we just, we talked a little bit. Yo, what's going on? This is when this was before the Puello fight. I'm like, yo, bro, yo, what's up with Al Heyman, man? He's shelving you like you too good for that. Nah, don't worry, it's coming. He got a real laid back, but when he get in the ring, man, he's an animal. Shout to him. Shout to the Russell family, man. Good dudes. Gary Russell Jr. He had arguably the fastest hands in all in boxing when he was fighting. Sucks we never got the Morris fight. Sucks we never got the Leo Santa Cruz fight. Knowing they were under the same banner. That's what's really crazy. But anyway, that's here nor there. Again, shout to Gary Antuanne Russell. And I know the question that comes next, right, Johnny? Who we want to see him in with and who does he fight?
Well, I'm going to bring up a comment here because this is what I said immediately after that. We got to get that rematch popping, bro. And the best thing about it, and it's for unification, it'll be a unification. So that has to happen. In my opinion, that has to happen. But I also said on the live when we did the IG live that I don't even care who he fights next. I just want to see him fight again, especially if we're going to see this version. I mean, it was exciting. It was skillful. I mean, like I said, he stuck to the game plan. To piggyback of what you say, he's a quiet assassin. That's what he is. He's a quiet killer. And at least PBC, you mentioned Gary Russell not getting those fights, and I agree, but at least PBC is trying to do the right thing for little bro. Right?
At least. They making it up, man. He said, we sorry.
Right? But they're making it up. But shout out to him. That's who I want to see him against. I don't know. Is that what you want to see next, or is there somebody else that you like to see him against?
So look, I was speaking to my brother Low Nose Boxing, saying shout to Low Nose Boxing. And he proposed something, a junior welterweight tournament. And bro, this shit, I say, yo, I like it. And this is why I'm giving him his flowers here. So this is why he proposed. He said, listen, let's do this. We ready getting Tio Barbosa, right? Boom. Let's get Hitchens Matias, right?
Okay.
And then you got Russell Puello rematch. The winner of the Hitchens Matias versus the winner of Antuanne Puello rematch. And obviously, the winner of that fight will fight the winner of Tio Barbosa. And then we get an undisputed at welterweight. And those are arguably the best fighters right now at 140. And I say, yo, shit. He's like, man, Turkey just need to do that shit. I say, yo, bro, who gonna argue that? Matias Hitchens for the IBF. You already got Tio Barbosa for the WBO. Then you're gonna get Russell and Puello putting up their WBC, WBA on the line. The winner have 2 straps. And yo, bro, I don't think that's a bad idea. Are we gonna get it? Probably not. But man, that'll be a great tournament. Those are great fights, and we will get an undisputed fighter. And it was mainly so for Tio, because he was like, yo, imagine Tio gets out that gauntlet as the undisputed at 140. Now you got to probably call him one of the greatest at 140. It'll still be debated, but he'll make a claim based on that. And no shout to, no disrespect to Bud, because he's a great fighter. But if that was to happen, the winner, the undisputed, will have, to me, a better run at undisputed than what Bud did at 140. My opinion.
I like it, man. Shout out to Lowe's, man. I mean, I love the idea, the concept, but do we see it? I doubt it unless Turkey Al-Sheikh gets involved here. I mean, he's our savior. I mean, maybe he decides or tries to put something like that together. That would be absolutely phenomenal if they were to do that. Sign me up. We got Pink Car 06. Russell gave Rayo the business. He sure did, bro. He cooked them like a pot of grits, bro. And that's no cap, man. Rayo was gassed after the 3rd round, those body shots. I mean, Gary did a lot of good things, bro. He did a
Yeah.
body, his jab.
Yeah, he did. Changing levels, man. He
Yeah,
did
man.
it well, man. Shout to
Absolutely,
him.
man. It was a beautiful performance, like me and Maniac said. I think that's the best performance right now for any fighter in any fight from
And the
top
big
to
fight
bottom.
in the championship fight this year, you gotta that definitely is arguably the best performance. Arguably, again, everyone has preference. I get it, but
Right.
if you're looking at it objectively, you gotta put that up there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wax Maniacs knows his stuff. Absolutely, bro. My man is
Appreciate you,
sharp.
Wax.
My man is sharper than a number 2 pencil, bro. That's why he's here, man. That's why I love breaking down fights with him, man. He knows his stuff, man. Ethan Serrano, what's going on, champ? Thanks for rocking out with us, man. Unification bout with Puello. That's what I said, man. I said it immediately after that fight. Sign me up for that. But anyhow, let's get to it, man. If you are watching this live on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the Hangout spot and the Boxing Maniacs YouTube channel, and continue going in the chat. You're going to want to right now because we are about to break down the main event. Gervonta Tank Davis, Lamont Roach, in front of about 18,000 people, which was the second biggest crowd. 19,000. I'm sorry, 19,000 people. I think they said it was the second biggest crowd for any
Yeah.
event. Barclays. I think the first one was a concert, the Rolling Stones or something like that.
Yeah.
And he surpassed his mark with Rolly because he sold out the building with Rolly as well.
And surpassed Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, wow.
Is number 3. Bad Bunny. The top 4, Tank is number 2 and number 4. I think I forgot who was that. Rolling Stones is one of these like rock groups, and then is Tank, Roach, Bad Bunny, and then Rolly Tank, number 4.
Amazing. On TV, it looked lit. I'm pretty sure, like you said earlier, obviously it was lit while you were there in person. The stars came out, fighters came out. This is what Tank does. Every time he fights, it's an event, which is why I'm so critical. I want to see Tank in the big fights. But let's get to this one before we talk about that one, because this one was extremely controversial. Yeah, Tank Davis, Lamont Roach. A lot of people didn't give Lamont Roach a chance in this fight. I picked Tank to knock out Roach in about the 9th or 10th round. I think you said around the same thing. About the same thing. It got to the point when we did our IG lives that we were trolling guys like X, like absolutely, that were saying that this fight would go to distance because we were like, yo, what are you drinking? Whatever you drinking, pass that over to me, man. There's levels here. We like Lamont. This has nothing to do with him. It's just we feel Tank's in a different level. And then we saw what happened Saturday. So for those of you guys that were living under a rock and did not get a chance to see that fight, it ends in a draw, in a majority draw. I think one judge had it for Tank 7-5, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yeah, 115, 113. Yes, 7-5.
113. And the other two had it 114, 114. Now people are crying robbery here. Now here's what I say to that, Maniac, because we talked about robberies, right? We are always critical when fans say fights are a robbery that are close, that could have went either way. This fight was close, but this kind of goes against the grain here because even though it was close, this was a robbery.
Correct.
The reason why it was because of what happened in the 9th round. And again, if you either were living under a rock or you don't have any access to social media at all, because it's all over the place, you will see this meme. And remember, Tank said before the fight on one of these interviews that he's afraid of being embarrassed. Like he doesn't want to be in a meme. Well, guess what, Tank? It looks like this is going to be the meme that you are going to be a part of for the rest of your career, because in the 9th round, Tank gets hit by a jab. He steps back and he takes a knee. And we all know that when you take a knee in the sport of boxing, that is considered a knockdown. And you have to be counted as a standing 8 count. Instead, referee Steve Willis, who I do like, I like Steve Willis, but I also think that Steve Willis sometimes feels like he's a fan in the front row rather than a referee. He starts counting and then stops, lets Tank go to the corner. Calvin Ford comes up to the apron, wipes his face, and then he lets the fight continue, and there was no knockdown call. Now, if there would have been a knockdown called, Lamont Roach wins this fight and becomes a 2-division champion, and upset and shakes up the entire boxing world. but that didn't happen. So my question to you, Maniac, before we get into it.
Yeah.
How did you score this fight? And let's talk about the fight. Break down the fight first, and then just tell me who you had winning, because there's a lot of questions.
So before we even get into the fight, right? The technicalities, I think a draw sounds good. I think Tank Roach finished strong, right? And I did give him the some of the later rounds, and hence why a draw. I just thought they wasn't going to give it to Roach, right? Unfortunately, boxing is a sport, right? I like to use a lot of analogies, right? And we're the fans, we're the pendejo, we the punk that our girl keeps cheating on us and we keep taking her back. We just can't, we just keep taking her back. And this is what boxing does to us. Us, Johnny, the hard-earned blue-collar guys. Because Johnny, dudes like you, like me, boxing voice, everybody else, we the ones that's keeping this sport alive. We're the media, right? ESPN ain't really covering these fights unless it's a big fight like that. But everything else is us, right? Being pay-per-view, whether you a Fire Stick boy, I know in your show, everybody was like, the Fire Stick boys are out. That shit had me laughing.
Bro,
but look,
the chat was going crazy.
Yeah, that shit was funny. To each his own, right? Regardless whether you have to Fire Stick or pay for it, it's your money. But nonetheless, man, don't cheat us. Regardless who we a fan of, right? Whether you a Tank fan or not. What happened on Saturday was an atrocious act. There's no way that picture there, which was Gervonta taking the knee, should have been called a knockdown. Like you said, a standing 8 count. Why not? Well, I want to hear what the judge the referee, Willis, has to say. Because, again, I was there live. I heard from Norbs. He said that there was a replay official there that he looked at it and they said, no, it's not a knockdown. I don't know how true that is. I didn't hear it from anybody else. Again, this is why he's telling me. And then another thing, you say he started the count?
He started the count, correct. And he stopped. It was almost like he was in shock. And he allowed Tank to take a timeout mid-round, because that's what it was. It was a timeout. Whoa. I need to get this thing wiped off my face. All right, we can continue.
What an atrocity, man. That's just it's a shame. It's a shame that had to happen, because you know what? I be like you said, Johnny, we come here, we've been to the Crow Buffet many times. And you know what? I'm back there and I brought my barbecue sauce with me because I was eating this crow beautifully.
Yeah.
Roach, I gave him no chance in this fight. I'll be honest. I knew he's a tough, rugged fighter. He got skill. I say, ain't no way he beating Tank. But you know what? He won that fight. Just like you said, Johnny, we've come in here, we argue with dudes' eyes. You got to start calling everything a robbery. This was a robbery because based on the final scorecards, right? A majority draw, that was supposed to be a knockdown. It's not for debate, bro. It's not for debate. It's not, well, it couldn't. That was 110% a knockdown. And it was so obvious. Understand, like, it was a quick slip and it was in the corner and the referee was behind the fighter. He couldn't really see it. It was right in his face. And then you're going to tell me that he started counting? Man, oh, man. But anyway, let's get to the fight, right? You have, again, Gervonta Davis. The only knock I have against him is that he loses a lot of those early rounds, right? Because, of course, we know he like to download data, right? He's not really active, and that's just who he is. He's a very precise puncher. He doesn't waste punches. He's an assassin. He waits, and then he strikes. He likes to wait till there's blood in the water, or he lures you to sleep. You thinking, okay, and bang, that left. Here we go. But the beauty about this fight was that Lamont Roach said, you don't intimidate me. And he did his homework. Even though he did get hit with the lefts, but Gervonta is that good, right? So it's going to happen. But again, similar to the Russell fight, Roach, the jab. Now, he didn't land a bunch. He outlanded, but the jab, bro. And Roach did what he could do best with his abilities, right? He's not an elite fighter. But that was an elite performance based on his standards, based on what we saw. Because like you said, Johnny, when did you see someone fight in the pocket against Tank like that? So he fought. So like I said, a fight is fought on 3 levels: on the inside, mid-range, and on the outside. Most fights are fought mid-range to the inside. So, bro, he knew that left, right? I just got to be wary of that left. So once he started putting that jab in Tank's face, Tank became more hesitant. And as the fight went on, Tank wasn't doing much. So hence why he probably took that knee. I think he panicked a little bit. And Roach didn't panic. He stood to the game plan. Jab, clinch a little bit. If I have to, push him off me. And he got hit with a couple of shots, like I said, Roach, but it didn't affect him. And he was stronger than I expected, man. He took them shots well. Just his boxing ability, he just used his boxing. It wasn't super technical, but it was just enough. Jab, combination punches. And he threw what I did like. A lot of his jabs were power jabs, right? You got people that throw probing jabs where it's just like you're just throwing it out there, probing to set something up. He was like, bang, that. He was snapping. All the glaring shots, all the eye-opening shots will land by Lamont Roach. He outlanded Tank, not by much. He out-jabbed Tank. Tank landed the more power punches by a couple, not by much. Roach outworked Tank, not by much, but he did enough, man. He fought a hell of a fight. He did what he could. Again, his footwork was beautiful. He made sure he wasn't in the danger zone for too long. He got up out of there. Because, you know, with Tank, he's a shark. Once them jaws lock, once there's blood in the water with Tank, it's over. There's blood in the water, you're done. Not with Roach. She said, not me. And shout to Roach for sticking to the game plan and his father, fighting that mid-range, countering, understood they took risk. Again, if you're going to beat someone like Tank, you got to take risk. And he did. And Tank, look, I've watched, I think we all watch many Tank fights, Johnny. And in the chat, let me know as well. Tank on one gear the whole fight. He didn't switch it to second gear, third gear. Yo, you know what? Let me go. And let me ask you, the people that were watching at home, was his corner like trying to light a match under him? Like, yo, bro, it's not looking good. Get him up out of here. Because sometimes you need to hear that. But I'm like, yo, but Tank, I'm like, okay, he's gonna step on the gas. He never really stepped on the gas. And again, that's not taking nothing from Roach, but Tank, it just seems something off with him. Again, I don't know if it was a mental thing, if it was something going outside the ring. Was it Barry Hunter not having Calvin Ford for the entirety of his training camp? You know, them things play a factor. But regardless of the fact, whether that all could be true, you still got to get in the ring and handle it, right? Like when no matter if we argue with our wives, having drama, when we go to work, we got to perform. Your boss don't give a fuck what you have going home. I pay you to do this. So the same thing with a fighter. So shout to both fighters, man. Listen, Tank deserves to get cooked. I get it. But you know what? We've been fair across the board. We cooked Shakur after De Los Santos. We cooked T.O. many times. We cooked Boots for his fight against Kukajan. You know that even in Philly, my man Uno going at it with Greg Hackett. Because, you know, they Philly and they get in their feelings. So The bottom line is this, man. If you think this is who Tank is, then you got to really reassess that. He'll be back. He's better than why he is. And if he's not, you know what? I'll be the first one to come here and say I was wrong. But shout to Roach. Hell of a performance on his end. I mean, the fight was a good fight. Nothing, we're not going to be talking about this. It's not a legendary fight or a fight of the year candidate, but based on Roach's odds in this fight, man, and just about nobody giving him a chance to do what he did Saturday and do it beautifully based on the skill set he has. Wonderful performance, man. And if they run it back, cool. If they not, it is what it is.
Great breakdown. So a couple of things. So I rewatched this fight yesterday, and I scored it. I scored it a draw without counting a knockdown, which means Roach should have won that fight because that was a knockdown. So I had technically Roach winning, right? But the only criticism that I will say about Roach is that he didn't take advantage of the early rounds like most Tank opponents do because he wasn't busy enough. Like he was walking Tank down, but he wasn't really throwing a lot of shots. I think I text you. It almost looked like he was being cautious not to get hit with a big shot in return. That's what it looked like to me. When I'm like, dude, you got to start imposing yourself here because you're not taking advantage of what Tank is giving you. Tank will give you the first 4 or 5 rounds. He's done it against other fighters. If he would have taken advantage and at least won 2, 3 of those early 5, 6 rounds, he would have won this fight even without the knockdown because he was that good in the second half of that fight. He fought in the pocket, in the second half of that fight. He landed some shots. I'd never seen a Gervonta opponent land those type of flush shots. He actually stumbled, Gervonta with a right hand. When Gervonta threw a left, he landed a right hook and stumbled him. I hadn't seen that. You know what I'm saying? The only fighter that I saw put that type of pressure on Tank was Pitbull. That aggressive pressure, but I had Tank winning that fight. But yeah, man, I mean, that 9th round was a swing round. And it wasn't only because of the knockdown that they didn't call a knockdown. Roach was cooking him the first half of that round. And then after he got back up, Gervonta landed some big shots in the second half of that round. So again, that was the turning point to me. This was absolutely atrocious, like you said. I mean, you take a knee, that is a knockdown. Roach should have won that fight. And now what happens now? As far as Tank, man, I agree with you. I agree. He had one gear. But I attribute that to all the retirement talk. I don't know how focused he was against this type of opponent. I think that he thought
you mentioned it. You mentioned it yesterday in the live. One foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, I firmly believe that he needed this to probably get that foot right back in the door and say, hold on a second. I can't afford to take any of these guys lightly, even though, this is the tail end of my career because he wants to retire. People were saying that, oh, well, it could be because of the chemistry and not having Calvin Ford in there. But Calvin Ford was interviewed and said that, this has happened before where they kind of tag team him during training. Now, he wasn't the head trainer, but I think this was more on Tank than it was against the corner because I do feel like he took Roach lightly. And all this retirement talk and him being all cordial, I just, there was a vibe that I wasn't feeling about Tank. Like, is his heart really in this fight? Now, I'm not going to totally say that was the reason because I don't want to diminish Roach's performance either because it was spectacular. I was wrong. I'm not afraid to admit it. Maniac will tell you we eat crow all the time. I'm fine with it. I love it. Upsets are great for boxing. We're not experts. We're podcasters. We're content creators. We just giving our opinion just like anybody else. And if we're wrong, it's fine. You move on to the next one. I'm just happy for Roach because he really put his stamp on what type of a fighter he is. And now he's in the conversation for possibly winning this fight. I don't know if you saw this, Maniac, but I'm going to put something up on the screen for my viewers. This was a post that was brought out today by ESPN Ringside and Mike Coppinger. And it says New York State Athletic Commission blames technical issue for Davis's knee, no call. Says matter under review. And in the small wording, it says the Athletic Commission in a statement to ESPN said it is reviewing the matter involving Gervonta Tank Davis taking a knee in the 9th round following a punch from Lamont Roach. Referee Steve Willis correctly started the count, but when he reached 3, he stopped and he didn't rule it a knockdown. So Roach came out on social media, Maniac, and said, your boy, who is 30-0-1, I'm hearing maybe 30-1 after this review. So they're talking about possibly turning this thing around. I don't know if that happens. We saw it with Ryan Garcia, right? They took the L off Devin Haney's record, gave him back his undefeated record because of the Osterine positive test. Obviously, this is different, but this is also a breach in the rules. This should have been a knockout. So it's almost like in baseball where you protest a game. We're going to protest this game. It looks like this is being protested. Who knows? Maybe they turn this around. I don't think they do because of the name stature of Gervonta. I think they forced them to run it back in a rematch. Maybe a no contest. I don't know. Maybe they rule it a no contest. But that'd be a shame. Like I said, you robbed this young man of beating the arguably one of the biggest faces of boxing on one of the biggest stages and becoming a 2-time world champion. He was much bigger than Tank too, which shocked the hell out of me, right? Because he was the smaller guy moving up in weight, and he looked like he was physically bigger.
Yeah,
so,
I think.
What do you think about that ruling? What do you think about that?
No, I think if they were to overrule it, that'd be a great thing for boxing, man. Because that means they stood on business and they're about the integrity of the sport, right? Because you know what? Excuse my language. Y'all fucked up. And you know why? It's obvious, Johnny. It's there. It's not like, yo, bro, nah, it looks like, if you look at it in this angle, no. His knee touched the floor clearly. There's no debate in that. So, yes, they need to go back and say, look, no matter what view you look, they missed it. Let's reverse it. That means that's going to be a 10-8 round for him. 115, 114. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tank and Roach fight has been overturned. Victory for Roach. And you know what? Social media is going to be on fire if that happens. And I think it's the right thing to do. Let me see.
I absolutely agree. Cedric Terrell, what's going on, champ? Thanks for rocking out with us, man. Honestly, Lamont's loss came from someone he didn't know. Props to Tank for helping out an old friend. Now Tank got 3 big fights to avenge instead of 2. Hey, it's just business. So yeah, he's talking about Lamont Roach's losses with Jarrell Herring. That was his only loss of his career. Another southpaw, which he lost by unanimous decision. Yeah, there were a lot of people saying that, yeah, he was gonna potentially carry Roach. He gave him this fight because they're old friends. Obviously, they used to, they grew up, in the amateurs and sparred together and fought each other. But I mean, I don't believe that. I mean, this is the pros, man. This is professional. This is prize fighting. Tank's the champion. He knows he's arguably one of the faces of boxing. I don't think Tank deliberately wanted to go out there and just carry this guy. I just think that Lamont Roach was really, really good Saturday.
Yeah. And let's say this, Johnny. Let's just say this. Theoretically, okay, he's there to carry him, right? He's there to carry him. Okay, he's there to carry Roach. But when you carry a fighter, you still win the fight definitively, right?
Correct.
They say Canelo carry Munguia. Let's just say if that was the case. We don't know. That's just, opinion. Let's just say he did carry him. But when the 12th round ended, that anybody was like, oh, I don't know about this fight. No, we just said we knew Canelo won. Same thing for Tank Roach. If he's there, I'm going to get my man paid. You know what? I'm not going to do him like I'll do anybody else. But I'm going to whoop him early, get these rounds out the way, perhaps see if I could drop him once, maybe twice, but I won't finish him. And we'll go 12, you get paid, I get paid, and we move along. You don't put that kind of performance if you carrying somebody, bro. You arguably lost. You should have lost the fight. So I'm not, as far as the carrying part, I'm pretty sure maybe him choosing him as an opponent to get paid because that's his man. I agree with that part. But as far as what happened in the ring, I can't really buy that part because it was the fight. The fight should have been ruled for Lamont Roach. So as far as carrying me, I'm not buying that.
I agree. And the comparison with the Canelo and Munguia, because I agree with you. I think he totally carried Munguia, but there was no doubt in anybody's mind who won that fight. You know, this was a close competitive fight. I think this was a cherry pick gone wrong. I think this was, you know, a Tank special, right? You picking a guy who you feel that you have a clear advantage over, that you can hit harder than. You're bringing him up a weight class. You're going to download data, and then you're going to strike, and you're going to take him out in the late rounds. But Lamont wasn't having it. He was not having it. And like I said, man, I had him winning that fight if they would have counted the knockdown, but he could have won that fight definitively, man, if he would have just let his hands go a little bit in the first 5 rounds of that fight. I watched
No, you're right.
Damn, man, Lamont, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Like, he could have really, really taken advantage of that. Either way, I think that it'll be interesting because now boxing, the commission has an opportunity to make a statement. Like, this shit ain't being tolerated anymore. Unfortunately, you can't hear from the referees, right? They don't allow the referees to come out and speak. I would love to hear what Steve Willis got to say because he started the count, but it was almost like he was a fan. He was
got scared. He said,
got
"Hold
scared.
on."
He got scared. We say this all the time, Maniac, about the fighters being scared, being the moment is too big. I think that moment was too big for Steve Willis.
And that's weird because he's ref a lot of big fights, which is crazy.
It is crazy, man.
And let me ask this. Yeah. And you see, and this is kind of going off, which I'm just saying, to me, I'm not these conspiracy theories when it comes to boxing. Again, to each his own. But remember when Turkey was in Hamza's corner telling him the scorecards and everybody, oh, look at Turkey. Not saying I agree with that. I'm not saying I didn't agree with that. But you know what? He's just letting him know, yo, you losing. You losing. Boom, right? It's just because he's the one putting on the event. It just doesn't look good, right? You see, I remember the Crawford fight, right? With Sean Porter. Yo, you losing the fight. Crawford went and boom, boom, bang, knocked him out. So, but now the Tank, this controversy. If this was a Turkey card, Johnny, if this was a Turkey card and that happened to the star of that Turkey card, Riyadh season, would these people be quiet? I'm just saying. But you know what? That's here nor there. We're not going to get into that because I know people are biased. They pick and choose who to cook and who not to. Me here, Johnny here, one thing we're going to do, we fair across the board. Spanish, black, white, Japanese, alien, elephant, giraffe, it doesn't matter. We gonna call it like it is. So if you was one of them dudes cooking turkey for what he was doing, then you got to keep the same energy for PBC and them. But anyway, let's get to who we think is gonna be next. All right, so let's just say, Johnny, they do overrule it, right? Lamont Roach. Then I think is 100% we get the run back. What you think?
1,000%. There's no way they won't run that back. I still think there's a good chance that they do run it back. They were going back and forth on Twitter. Again, you know, these fighters, they like to do that shit on Twitter, talk back and forth. I mean, these guys, if we had to rate top 10 pound for pound on Twitter battles, I mean, Tank and Shakur, all these guys would be in the top 3, bro. So I don't put too much stock into that. But again, it looks like Tank is starting to hear the criticism, and it's like, yo, I'm not used to this. I think I got to get this back, and I think this is where he gets pushed to do a rematch, regardless if they turn this decision over or not. Because what's next? If he doesn't give him the rematch, are we realistically gonna see him and Shakur next? I don't think so.
No.
Are we gonna see him and Keyshawn next? I don't think so. I'd love to see it. So who are we gonna see Tank fight next? We're not seeing him fight Tio.
No.
But I think it makes perfect. Now, Lamont Roach obviously has a lot of options because he can move back down. He's still the WBA 130-pound champion, and he has made one hell of a name for himself. So there's going to be people know. Right.
Remember,
so he can move back down, you know, so he has options. Tank, to me, unless he takes the obvious fights that we all want to see him fight, which I don't think he will. I think the obvious choice is a rematch, regardless. What about
Yeah,
you?
good point. No, I think that's 100% correct, right? Because I think he understands. To me, I still think Tank is the better fighter. I just think Roach had the better night, and I think a rematch would tell us what whether we was right or wrong about that. Because to me, right, it's either Haney, it's Shakur, it's Teo for me, or Keyshawn. Now, if Tank, let's say he was to say, you know what, my next fight is going to be one of those 4 fighters, right? Like realistically, he's going to go for Keyshawn. Why he'll go for Keyshawn? He's the greenest of those 4. He's greener than Haney. He's greener than Teo. He's greener than Shakur. So he understands that I get in there with this young lion. Chances are I'm getting him up out of here or I'm going to beat him. But again, remember, Keyshawn is top rank. Teo, I believe he's still top rank. I know he was going through court. No, he signed with, I don't know his situation. I know he's with Turkey. He's doing a couple of fights with Turkey. And Shakur, we know he's with Matchroom. So he will definitely have to probably fight in the Riyadh season if it's going to be with that. And we already know how Tank feels about Turkey al-Sheikh. And there was rumors swirling, right, Johnny? This is the part I don't get into, but my man Ralphie hit me up. He loves the back end stories and the bochinche. He was like, word around the campfire. I don't know how true. If Tank would have won Saturday, that he was gonna call out Jake Paul. And you say to yourself, yeah, you say to yourself, bro, how stupid is that? But then you say to yourself, it is a business, right? Boxing is it's a spectacle. That would have been a dumb fight, but just look at it. Does MVP work with Turkey?
No. Good point.
Does Tank like Turkey?
Good point. No.
So will that be the ultimate to Turkey? We don't need you. Look what we're doing. And again, I want to make the chat clear, and anybody who tunes in, I'm not advocating for that fight. I hope that shit never happens. But I'm just telling you, based on today's standards in boxing, that is 100% possible. Tank versus Jake Paul. Shit is the joke of the jokes. But listen, guess what's going to happen? People going to eat it up. Yo, I'm going to have people in my job. Yo, you think Tank could beat Jake Paul? I'm going to want to punch them in their face for asking me a stupid question like that. But that's what the casuals are going to say, Johnny.
Oh, man, this is
nasty.
Bro,
it is.
What can you say, man? Welcome to the business of boxing in the year 2025, when fans actually entertain this shit. Like, first of all, let's look at this, right? Financially, I guess it would make sense if this guy is looking to surpass the bag that he made with Ryan. There's really nobody else out there that can surpass that $30 million price tag other than him against Jake Paul. So I guess financially that makes sense, because I don't even think even a Shakur fight, I don't believe that will generate more money, than a Tank Ryan fight did. Obviously Ryan's popularity coming into play. But a couple of things here. Number one, Jake Paul fights at what, 230? What was he against Mike Tyson? 230 pounds. He outweighs Tank by 100 pounds. So number one, where would this? Am I kidding you? Like, number one, where would this fight take place if they met in the middle? Tank doesn't even want to move up to 140. Like, he has said to people in interviews, I'm a small dude, and Tank is a small guy. He's only 5'5", 5'5" and a half. He's a small lightweight. Now, don't get me wrong, he hits like a welterweight or a junior middleweight, but he's a small guy. So where would this fight take place, man, at a catchweight?
Yo, that's a great question.
Like, it's not physically possible, fight fans. Like, for my viewers, it's just not. It may happen, but it'd be a circus. So no, I don't want to see that. He has enough smoke at his own division that has not been addressed. And again, I'm going to go back and say it. In fact, we got who we got? We got We got my man, the heavyweight champ in the building. We got Maurice Jones, also known AKA as Fight Night Mo. Salute family. My brothers Johnny and Maniac. Yeah, you are here. And if you guys don't know, that Fight Night Mo is one of the biggest Tank fans I know.
Yes.
Much respect to him, but there's plenty of unfinished business that hasn't even been started at 135. Like, there's no reason for it. Like, Shakur is still there. Shakur and Tank are arguably the two best lightweights in the world. I don't think it's debatable. That's the fight we need to see. That's the fight we need to see. If not, we need to see Tio. And if Devin Haney cooks and he's able to do what he needs to do against Ramirez and Ryan, then maybe we need to see that fight again. Or I'm sorry, maybe we need to see that fight against Haney down the road. But there's plenty of options at 135, even at 140 if he wants to move up. A Tio fight is a fight that I would be clamoring for.
Everybody.
So, I mean, he would he have called out Jake Paul? I don't know. You know what I said, Maniac? I said on one of my shows last week. I don't know if you heard that, but I had a funny feeling based on the type of respect that he has for this guy and the fact that fans, more so than any, want to see this dream fight as well. I've kind of thought that maybe it would be Inoue he would call out. Maybe catch Inoue at a catchweight. Remember, there's a lot of fans. I think this is more of a fantasy matchup as well because, again, Inoue's a smaller guy, but they are the same size and height. They're about 5'5". If he can move up to 130, let's say, and they can meet at 130, maybe that's a fight that happened. That's also a big lucrative fight for Tank as well. I think true hardcores will really, really buy into that. I thought that maybe he would call out him, but I knew it wasn't going to be Shakur. I knew it was going to be Keyshawn or any of those other guys. It's almost like when they bring him up, when they bring those guys up, he gets irritated. Like he doesn't want to hear about those guys.
Yeah, yes. And I think that's been my beef, right? I was on the live, I was on the live Friday night. After we did our live, my man TD Sports, shout out to my man TD Sports, he had it live on Facebook. I said, oh shit, let me jump in here. And we were talking, and I was like, yo, listen, if because of the Inoue, right? I'm like, I can see that. I wouldn't want it, right?
I wouldn't want it either. I think Inoue is way too small.
But it's more realistic, right?
Very much realistic.
More realistic than that. And it's a mega fight, right? Everybody says Inoue don't fight in America. He needs to come in America. But fight fans need to realize something, Johnny. Boxing is not only fought in North America, bro. It's a global sport. So if Inoue is getting the bag in Japan, right, and he's cooking dudes, what's the problem? There shouldn't be, right? Then cook them over there. No, it don't matter. He's gonna beat these guys in America, in North and South America, and Australia. It wouldn't matter. The bottom line is this, man. Tank, for me, the ball is on his court. The ball in his court. He has to figure out, what is it that I want to do? Do I give this guy a rematch? I think let's see how this decision goes, because there's probably a possibility that it gets overturned. And I'm with you on this one, Johnny. I don't think it does, based on star power. They rather say, listen, guys, just do the rematch, and we'll get that. And if he doesn't get the rematch, then who? Right? I want to see Shakur. Tank has the power. Everyone in the chat knows this. Tank has that power to say, look, he'll go to his manager and say, look, I want Shakur. I want so-and-so. They can make it happen.
I've said that
Tank
forever.
He has the star power. We said that. How did Crawford and Spence make that fight, Johnny? They put Crawford mentioned it in the interview with Andre Ward that Al Heyman was upset with Spence, that he kept Al Heyman out of the negotiations. But why? Because they wanted to fight. So people need to stop their excuses, right? Because look, when you say what Tank being irritated, right? Because your Shakur, he's boring. He does, bro, but so what? He's boring. People want it. And People said they were saying, oh, they sent Shakur a contract, but then Shakur ended up signing with Matchroom. He didn't want the Tank fight. Well, whenever they mention Shakur to Tank, Johnny, why he never mentions, well, we send him the contract. He said,
Absolutely.
no, I don't hear Tank saying that. So again, this is why that back and forth, you will never get the truth, right? You interview fighter one, he's going to tell you this. Fighter two is going to tell you this. Now you're like, who's lying and who's saying the truth? No one's going to say, you know what? Yeah, he sent me the contract. I said no, right? I mean, Brian Norman did. His team with the boots, they admitted they just felt like they got lowball. That's all. So I respect that. But everybody else, no, nobody sent me a contract. There's always some BS going on, but we'll see, man. We'll see what's next for Tank, and I expect to see a much better Tank in his next fight. And if not, bro, I don't know.
Yeah, then if you don't see a much better Tank, then maybe it's a good idea for him to call it quits. But if this is not a wake up call, then I don't know what is. But I think it will be. I think that Tank is a special fighter. I've always said that. I like Tank. I'm not a Tank hater. I just want more, and we as fight fans, we should want more from our favorite fighters. It's okay to hold them accountable. Like, it's okay. It's not really criticizing them. Like, for example, if I'm a true hardcore Tank fan, I want him to fight Shakur. Like, yo, shut this dude up already, bro. He talks so much shit on Twitter. Like, Gil, go get me that fight. Like, Tank can do that, man. Tank literally keeps the lights on at PBC, bro. Like, Tank can do that. Yo, get me that fight because this dude is talking hella shit and I'm going to shut him up. And it just doesn't feel like he's interested in doing that. He just wants to beef back and forth on Twitter. So, listen, again, I know Tank fans are going to be mad at me for this, but I've said it. I've said it for the longest time. If they fight, I pick Shakur to beat him. I pick Shakur to beat him because you can't hurt what you can't hit, man. Defensively, the reflexes, Shakur will take advantage of those early rounds that Lamont Roach did it. And if he cooks the second half of that fight, he doesn't get with a big shot, I think Shakur can beat him on the scorecards. That's just my opinion.
It's tough. No, I feel you. And me, I'm the opposite. I think Tank still wins. I think he gets up for Shakur. He understands. And they both gonna get up. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think we'll see the best version of both fighters if they were to fight. It won't be he looked off today. He's gonna be like, yo, they were both kicking it in third gear. So it'll be interesting to see that fight, man. I just hope it happens. And, another thing for other fans, man, that they got to stop. They got to stop calling hate truth hate. There's a difference. There's truth and there's hate. This is hate. Let me tell you the difference. Hate is saying Tank is trash. Hate is saying Tank is a bum. Hate is saying Tank ain't got skills. And that's for any fighter. That's hate. Truth is, bro, we need you to fight better competition. The proof is there. So that's not hate. That's just truth. So why his fans get upset? And that goes to anybody. Canelo fans, Tio fans, Crawford fans. Like, you got to analyze what people are saying and say, you know what? Oh, shit, yeah, that's true. I'm not going to lie. Again, Johnny, the crackhead reference. If my aunt is a crackhead and you be like, yo, maniac, I saw your aunt smoking crack. Yo, what you mean, bro? Yo, it's a crackhead. Why I'm getting mad? It's the truth. You're not calling her a bitch. You're not calling her a whore. You say, yo, you calling it like it is. That's all. So the same thing with fighters. Like you said, Johnny, hold not only your fighter accountable, but everybody accountable, bro. It's a boxing community. It's just like the block, bro. There's certain things you don't do on the block. If you're a stick-up kid, you don't stick up old folks. You don't stick up people from your block. And so on and so forth. Boxing is the same. We got to hold every fighter accountable. Stop being biased. Yes, you can have your preference. You can have your favorite fighter. That's cool. No one can tell you who to like and who not to like. But if you're not holding fighters accountable because you're a fan of them, then you know what? You're a fanboy. And that's it. Call it like it is. I respect you more. Like, yo, nah, I'm a fanboy. Then I'm going to say, okay, I already know where you at mentally when it comes to this. But if you know how to push that your fanboyism to the side and say, yo, nah, enough is enough. And that's that, bro. Boxing will be in a better place, but unfortunately, and it's just not Tank. This goes out to every fighter in general. If we don't hold these fighters accountable, we won't get these fights because we okaying the Lamont Roach versus Tank. It just happened that it happened the way it happened Saturday, right? No one expected that. So that was the element of surprise. So hopefully, as fans, we got to demand more, bro. You got to, if your kid is getting 65s in school, you're just going to say, good job. You just passed. Nah. You're like, yo, you better than that, bro. I need 80s, 90s. And if you push them, they're going to do that. Same thing with fighters.
You cooking, man. You cooking. But Maniac, you got to think about it. This is not just boxing. This is the world that we live in. Like the word hate is just thrown around way too often. Like I said, when I go there and I talk this shit on the Boxing Voice about Tank, they kill me. I'm a hater.
I can imagine.
I'm not a hater, bro. I'm just holding him to a higher standard because he deserves to be mentioned among the greats. Like I don't want Tank to retire and then people question, well, he was a great fighter or a good fighter or whatever, but he didn't beat so-and-so. Like there should not be any stones unturned. You are 30 years old. You are that guy. You need to get in there against the best the division has to offer. There's two words that get thrown around way too often in this day and age. Number one is hate. The other one is great. People are quick to just anoint people great without actually fucking accomplishing something that's great. Why don't you accomplish something before you become a great fighter, a great baseball player, a great basketball player? Like, those are two words, like I said. And as far as the fans, listen, you're going to have your favorites. I get it. But the one thing that I do hate about fans that have their favorites is that they enable their favorites. We got to stop enabling these fighters. We got to stop with, well, he's so great that he deserves to pick and choose his opponents. Bro, this is boxing, bro. This is boxing. When you're a champion, you should not have the right to pick an opponent. You fight the best that the division has to offer. You are the champion. You fight the top contenders. So again, bias and enabling is two different. They're two different things that fans often mix together when they cheer for their. And I have favorite fighters too. Don't get me wrong, I do. But
we all do. We all do.
We all do. Of course, we're gonna have our favorites, but at the end of the day, we win as fight fans when we see the best fight the best. Look at the shit, all the good shit we were talking about the Turkey Al-Sheikh card. What that gave us. We need to see more of that. Maybe not a 7-card main event or whatever it is, $26. I know that's an anomaly. We're not going to see that all the time. But we need to start seeing more consistent fights against the better guy, against the best fighting the best. We deserve that. They deserve it, right? They should want to go there and do that for legacy. And far too often will come short. But anyway, listen, rematch, that's what it should be. I think we're both in agreement on that. And then we'll see after that. Definitely the Shakur fight. If Tank wins the rematch, then we got to get that Shakur fight popping. I don't think there's any question about that. And put that to rest, whether he wins or loses. We got to put that to rest. But interesting evening, Maniac. Saturday night again. It was a good card from top to bottom. I'm sure being there was even better. The atmosphere was electric. And let's see. We also had Subriel Matias that won on Saturday as well. I'll touch on that real quick. He did what he needed to do against a guy that stood in the pocket in front of him, that was allowing himself to get hit. He also hit Matias with some good shots as well. Matias has a really good chin, or either that or this guy isn't a big puncher, one or the other. But that was just a slugfest back and forth until Matias broke him down and knocked him and ultimately stopped him. So I guess, that's going to earn him, I guess, a potential shot at Richardson Hitchens. Down the road, Matias, a good fighter with the right style in front of him. You got a boxer and a mover. It's going to be a little bit different. He looked hella comfortable against a guy that was standing right there in front of him. And he got hit a lot too, though. Matias got hit a lot by this guy. This guy was game.
He did.
This guy was game. But, he's an exciting guy, Matias. So it'd be interesting to see did you get a chance to see that fight?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I saw the whole card in its entirety. I'll say this about Subriel Matias. Again, me being a Puerto Rican myself, I've been critical of him because again, I'm not just because he's Puerto Rican, I'm gonna assume he's this guy. I've always said it. He has a lot of flaws, and he doesn't have much skill, but what he does have is heart. He has a chin, and when he lets his hands go, because he has power, it gets spooky out there. It gets Halloween out there. No matter what time of the year is, it can get Halloween for you when you in there with Matias. And what I did like in this fight, yes, he got hit. That's normal. He's a punching bag, but he let his hands go more in this fight. Hence why you saw Venezuela's right eye, man. It just bad where in the 8th round, he just took a knee. He just say, I can't. And that's what Matias does. Before the Lamont fight, he retired like 4 or 5 fighters straight on the stool. Like, nah, I ain't going back out there. I ain't hit me again. Shit. And you know what? Lamont did a good job. He smothered the shit out of Matias. But again, Matias started cooking late, but it was too late. And that decision was right. Now, hopefully, he learned his lesson. If he happens to get in the ring with someone like Richard Hitchens, first of all, shout to Africa. I spoke to him briefly on Saturday. We were talking.
Nice.
He didn't really let nothing out the bag. I'm like, yo, they talking about you and Camboso. He's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I guess I don't know.
Right.
But if Matias was to get that shot, man, he's gonna have to do what's my man's name? What was the guy that Keyshawn just knocked out before Berenchek? Lemos?
Lemos.
Lemos.
Yeah. Lemos. Yeah.
Remember what Lemos did to Richard Hitchens in that fight? Matias will have to do the same to win. And I just think he'll have a better shot because it's not like Hitchens let his hands go neither. Right? So it'll be interesting if they were to fight. But man, shout to Matias. He's a dangerous fighter at 140, like you said, with the right opponent in front of him. But he might have to beat someone like Hitchens to really put his name back in the forefront of the 140-pound division.
Absolutely. But he's in the mix. We're talking about him again. So that's good. Again, when we talk about Matias, at one point he was called the boogeyman at 140. Anytime he's in the mix, it's going to make for a better division. 140 is on fire, just like 154. We talked about that earlier. A lot of good fights, man. The future's bright, man. Just boxing's got to not be his own worst enemy. We got to make these fights happen, man. We got to make these fights happen. So we got Mo. The fight makes no sense at all. Jake Paul is like 4 or 5 weight classes bigger than Tank. Jake is a damn light heavyweight. Yeah,
he's
man.
a heavyweight.
He's a heavyweight. I don't think he's a light heavyweight. Absolutely. That Jake fight is a clown show. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't
wax. Absolutely, wax. A clown show. You're 100% right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Johnny. I'm thinking the same thing regarding the weight classes. Yeah, man. I mean, that can't be ignored. I mean, fight fans or casuals, like they're looking at the name recognition. Bro, look at reality. Yeah. We make this happen realistically. You know what I mean? Tank was going to call out Shakur, not Jake Paul. That Jake Paul shit is cap. I don't know, man. I don't think he was calling out Shakur, but I would have. He would have.
It would have been great. It would have been nice.
It would have been a fantastic end to the evening had he had won decisively and did that. Then I would have been happy for the outlook of the future. We got my man Juice in the building. What's going on, champ? Respect to the Hangout spot. Now I respect you for coming aboard and rocking out with us. Like I said, this was a great show, Maniac. This was an absolutely great show. We got to come back. You family, you're always welcome back. Let my viewers know where they can find you on social media, man.
Yes, sir, man. Make sure y'all follow me right there, Johnny. Throw it so they can see. There you go. On Instagram, right as you see it. _boxing_maniac. 1/4 of the Four Corners team. Me, my brother Fight Night Mo, who's in the chat. My brother Fight Night X. Y'all know what it is and who it is. And my man Uno, Mr. Ball for Ball, man. We got every fight. We cooking, man. So, and Johnny is family. He can, he don't even need to ask permission to go in the fridge. Just get in there, make yourself a sandwich. Don't worry about it. Take 2 Coronas. As a matter of fact, take that whole 6-pack. I don't care. I'll go get another one.
Appreciate that. Likewise, brother. Likewise. We got to bring you back again. Obviously, you're going to be a regular here breaking down fights for us. This weekend, we don't have a lot going on, I don't believe. On Friday, we do have that most valuable prospect card. out in Canada, which I will be watching.
Your man is fighting. What's his name? Body?
Lucas Prince Body, undefeated lightweight. He's fighting 18-0, 15 knockouts. He's actually headlining. I had him on a few weeks ago. If you guys did not see that,
I remember.
On the Hangout.
And shout the MVP, man. Shout the MVP. Even though I hope they do business with Turkey down the line, but regardless, I mean, we could say what we want to say about Jake Paul as a fighter, but there's absolutely nothing no one can say about Jake Paul, the promoter. The guy is putting on hella cards. He's putting on good fights. So shout the MVP. Shout to Jake Paul, the promoter. I mean, I still respect him as a fighter because he get in there, but he just been a lot of circus shit, man. Get in there, fight some real fighters, man. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I agree. He takes the sport serious, but which one is it? You want to be a contender, then you got to start fighting contenders. Guys in the top 30. Or you're going to continue to make this bag fighting guys that are retired over the hill MMA fighters. Which one is it? But just tell us. Tell us what it is so that we can guard, so that we can temper our expectations. Don't tell us after the fight, I want to win a title, I want to fight Canelo, I want to fight all these guys, but you fighting dudes that are either 60-year-old or they've been retired from the MMA for 10 years. Like, which one is it? Or are they basketball players?
Or Tank.
Oh, nasty, bro. Nasty. If that would have happened, I would have been like, that would have just, but I was feeling nice, Maniac. That would have just ruined my high, bro. That would have ruined my buzz, man. But
bro, that would have been a disaster.
This is the
but I don't think it's gonna happen. So yeah, man. Again, man, thanks. Thanks. Shout to everybody in the chat, man. Make sure y'all keep supporting my brother Johnny. Obviously, y'all here because y'all know he's apron certified. Apron certified means he's a certified cook. That's that Maniac talk, man. You understand? The Hangout spot, hands down, pound for pound. One of the best podcasts doing it. My brother not only cooking it here, he cooking it with interviews, man. He's out there in the streets as well. He does it all, man. So shout to my brother Johnny, man. Thanks for always showing love. And also tune in, man. We do Instagram lives on Friday. So if Friday you chilling, check us out on Instagram. We get in there. We get in the kitchen as well, man. No matter where we at, we gonna cook.
Absolutely, man. Great call out. And for my viewers, tomorrow, Tuesday show, I'm working on a guest right now, and I haven't gotten confirmation, so I'm not sure. I may just stick with the Monday show, maybe skip the Tuesday show and go right into the Thursday show, because Thursday we got a guest. We got the WBO president, newly elected president, Gustavo Olivetti. He's going to be in the building.
Great interview. I'm gonna definitely. What time, Johnny?
9 p.m., baby. 9 p.m. We rock out every Tuesdays, Thursdays, 9 p.m.
And make sure you take questions from the chat. And make sure they have their questions ready. Some of them, not all of them.
The chat gotta have their questions ready, man. We'll try to get to as many as possible. He's a great interview, loves to answer questions, isn't afraid to answer the tough questions either. And these are the type of interviews that I like for my viewers, because if you're like me, I like to get answers about the inside world of boxing, and this is coming from a president of a sanctioning body. And we all know how we feel sometimes about the sanctioning body. We often blame them when sometimes it's the fighter. So we're going to get his perspective on that, because I got some good questions lined up. So if you guys have not hit your notifications, make sure you hit your notifications. Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, WBO President Gustavo Olivetti will be in the building tomorrow. Again, follow me on Instagram. We'll see if I can get my guest on and do a Tuesday night show, or maybe we just do a Tuesday night show. You know how we do it up here at the Hangout spot. But man, this was awesome. I thank you for rocking out with me and the Maniac. As always, my brother, it's a pleasure. For my chat members, love you guys. Appreciate the love and support. As always, this is your boy Johnny signing out from the Hangout Spot Live, and I will talk to everybody soon.